call the meeting to order. You can call, roll call.
Okay. Chairperson Dana Gamblin,
Present.
Walt Matthews, Sharon Johnson,
Here.
Don Sharad,
Here.
Janice Warner,
Here.
and Gary Gundelsberger.
Everybody got copies of the minutes from last month's meeting. So what is your pleasure?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes as mailed or presented.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and properly second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No opposed? Okay. And we have witnesses today that are going to be testifying, so you just want to raise your right hand. I'll swear everybody in that's going to talk today. So you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay. We'll start with old business.
We have case number 202106, a review of variance. Charles Kreisner is appealing the demolition of 520 East Jefferson Street, Sandusky, Ohio, parcel number 56-00555.000.
Mr. Krasner, you're here? Would you like to step up? You can step up to the podium.
Yes, ma'am.
If not, it's okay.
Okay. I know we had here for the variance part, you were going to have your person get us the information that was needed.
My contractor has all of that stuff.
Okay.
State your name.
Can they take a look at the information you have?
Say anything you want.
Tom's been to the property recently, so
So he has.
he does have an adjusted percentage.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna ask for, the code compliance officer, Mr. Tom, to step up. You've been to the property recently?
Yeah, I was just over there last week,
Okay,
and I met with their contractor, Mr. Preisel,
Sure.
and yes, they are making progress. I also discussed some options with their contractor again today. I told him, here's the bigger percentages areas, if you want to concentrate on them, you'll make the biggest impact. And I think it was a very productive afternoon or morning meeting, and I think they know exactly what they got to do.
okay. As the contractor, you have a timeline, or when you think that this will be
We
completed?
basically, we just put our plan of action outline up today, waiting on quotes from the roofing contractors and the siding.
Okay.
We have our mechanicals getting turned on next week, the gas is getting turned on next week, and the water sometime, either the end of the week or the beginning of the following week. Then we'll be able to get our mechanical systems up and running. And then basically our timeline for the exterior and the major percentage points, we're waiting on the roofing estimates and the siding.
So the estimated completion date would be spring?
Spring,
Spring?
that would be,
Is that March?
uh,
I'm reading the minutes here, and it said that we provided a revised extension to 27 March 23, I'm sorry, 23.
Okay.
Will you be able to make that?
I think that would be,
I have a question. Did we already give them 6 months extension? He's just reporting. We
Right.
gave him, okay.
Yes.
That's the way I read the minutes.
I don't remember where things were left off.
Yeah.
I know that was mentioned in the prior meeting a few months ago.
Right. So we formalized that, I believe, last meeting in the minutes, and we provided a extension up to 27 March 23 at that time,
Okay.
at the last meeting, which was September.
What date was that?
I wrote down here, Sharon, 27 March 23.
Yeah, we had the meeting September 27th. We did, I think you were going to be present, but you weren't here, so we wanted you to come to this meeting so that we can find out where you were at and how things were going at this point, so.
Yeah, that's what I've met with Scott a couple times since then, and basically there was a little misunderstanding on the percentage breakdown. We were focusing on items that weren't impacting our percentage of completion. So now we need to redirect our focus on the things that are gonna,
And he said
Impact.
that you have made some things
yeah, that was a little
things done.
misunderstanding that we had.
Okay.
So you think you're going to be done by March then, right? March of 20,
March of 2023.
I don't want to throw myself out there and say done 100%, but we're going to focus on our issues, like on our big ticket factors that we discussed today. And I'm trying to think what is today's number, but
It'll bring that
yes,
percentage
I
down.
want to say yes, but I don't want to say, hey, we're going to be done, and then come March, we're not 100% done. And because there's some things we're not going to be able to focus on until the spring.
okay, has the city been in since our last meeting to look, have you invited the city in to?
Tom's been,
Yeah,
We've had
Mr. Tom just spoke.
Yes, I was there, and my plumbing inspector was there twice.
plumbing inspector has been there.
Okay, how far do you think, I mean, are we talking 50, 75% done, or just a rough?
he'll be
I think
fine.
right around, I'd say they got about 30% to go.
30%?
Where it'd be livable.
Okay. Do we need for him to report every month, or, no?
That's what I say. I don't think he needs to report back.
I'd
It seems like,
rather-
if I can, it seems like they've been working with the city. He seems to be, not Tom, Mr. Tom, I want to say he seems to be pleased with the progress, so I don't think
Okay.
they need to come back every month. We'll just have them come back in March, and hopefully you're going to be under that 50% threshold.
Okay. So, can I get a motion?
I make a motion to go ahead and just monitor the situation and bring it back onto the agenda for the March 23 meeting.
A second.
It's been moved and properly second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No opposed? Okay. You do a call?
Chairperson Dana Gamblin,
Yes.
Sharon Johnson,
Yes.
Don Sharad,
Yes.
Janice Warner,
Yes.
Okay, well, we will see you back in March of 2023, as long as you continue to keep working with the inspectors and just keep the
Thank
progress
you.
up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good weather. Pray for good weather.
Yeah, no,
I mean, a
And-
year and
and
a
that the
half,
supplies
that's
are
plenty
in
of
stock.
time.
Exactly.
that's a challenge right now.
Next, we have case number 2022-08. Linda Johnson is appealing the demolition of 402 Hendry Street, Sandusky, parcel 57-00674-000.
And you're Ms. Johnson's grandson, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
She couldn't make it today. She has either pneumonia or a cold, and she's been having it for like a week and a half now.
Plumbing, he's done everything.
I believe she did make a call over though. Spoke to somebody.
Yeah, she did call, but we still need it for, at least for you to be present today.
Yes, ma'am. I figured that.
So we
So
can see what's going on.
Yeah.
We just got these, copies, so,
the papers that you guys are reviewing is just one estimate from Restore Pro, and basically a lot of it would be cut half. They're coming out next week to do another re-estimate because a lot of the demolition has been caught up. This is probably right after we went 10/4, yeah, so this was at the beginning of October. So they're gonna come back out, because I did a lot of the demolition myself with my grandma, getting the dumpster, just clearing out all the debris and getting it down to studs. But they're coming out to do another re-estimate. And then she had touched on a point with me that with the insurance claim or how they handled that, they put $10,000 into escrow for the demolition. But she was wondering if that's going to go towards the remodel if it gets approved. I don't know.
So if the funds, if we
'Cause that's
received,
what-
if we received any funds in escrow from the fire funds, then they would sit in escrow until
It was done.
it's done.
Okay.
And then those funds are released back
Okay.
to you.
With Restore Pro, we also have 2 more contractors coming out too, second week of next month, and for the siding and the roofing. The roofing people are gonna be handling the reconstruction of the front porch, but she hasn't decided if she's gonna just leave it out or not yet, but,
So are you going, is your grandmother going with this company?
for the most part, I'm 99% sure she's gonna use them for the rest of the demolition part and, resealing the walls, and taking the smoke odor out, handling all the smoke fire damage as of that. And then they were talking about, the remodel, and then I don't think the quote for the remodel's in here. This is just mainly demolition and smoke control, or the damage from the, fire.
So are they gonna demolish the home and rebuild it?
No, I would like to get somebody from city to come out. So another question that had popped up too, it was brought to my attention that the gas line was cut. The city had came out and cut the gas line to that property, and I know it's been sitting for 2 years, so, I mean, that could be a potential reason for them to cut it off, but that's gonna,
I don't think the city.
city-
I see 3 heads shaking no.
Yeah, I don't.
Columbia Gas would disconnect service.
okay, just, so it's not, so she's not gonna have to run new gas lines.
I couldn't tell you that.
Okay.
Between Columbia
I
Gas
was,
and a plumbing inspector.
due to one of the neighbors, I was told that they had came out with the city, or somebody came out and either cut the gas line or disconnected them from the property. So, I mean, if that's probably a little concern that I would have to plan in to get rehab, because if they cut it off or cut it from the property, it would have to be re-ran.
I've never,
I know Columbia Gas is in the area.
Mhm.
They've been providing services to all different.
And that's what I was
If you
wondering.
don't have an active service, they might not reestablish that unless you would request it.
Okay,
So you might want to get a hold of Columbia Gas and find out what's going on, because
okay.
I think there's another one I just saw recently, looks like they just did away with it altogether. Well, they didn't have an active gas service for 2 or 3 years.
I think that was the property her old property that she just sold, right next to it, which was, yeah, 404.
So when you say cut off, do you mean disconnected or somebody cut the line?
I wasn't there, and I can't tell from the work that was done. I was just approached by a neighbor that lives on the street and said that they were doing some work in front of that house.
Well, I guess.
And I haven't got to contact none of the gas people yet, so.
I have some questions if I may. I don't,
That's fine.
okay. We have an estimate here from Restore Pro for $47,716 just to clean up the inside. That's not even remodeling. I'm very concerned about this.
Yes, ma'am. I have, they're coming back out for a reestimate because as I stated, I took it upon myself to do a lot of the demolition and removal of the debris and everything. So they're gonna come back out and give me an estimate on the seal, the HEPA vacuum, and then the sealing up the stud walls and odor control. So they're not taking any debris out, they're not demolishing anything. They're just gonna come in and take seal up the studs and take care of the fire control, which is in the HEPA vacuum exposed framing. So pretty much I got it down to the studs.
Well, I mean,
I still have some more questions here. First of all, you were supposed to bring a letter of credit from the bank. Did you do that?
So on that aspect, she, like I said, she has been sick for the past week and a half. So we haven't been able to get to the bank. With her being bedridden and me working 2 jobs, we didn't make that happen, but she's been on the phone. She's came out of rehab, so she's had a lot of people, take advantage of her. So she's got it strictly set up with the bank that she has to be in person. And we haven't got to make those appointments. I know it's not a good excuse, but it's just is what it is. We're doing the best we can.
I'm gonna intervene here real quick. So basically, we try to be fair.
Yes, ma'am.
The things that we ask for you to do are not done.
Yes, ma'am.
And just like you have the Restore Pro amount of $47,000 of cleaning and whatnot, you should have gotten a quote from them on what it's gonna take to put this all together. This, to me, is just part of the puzzle at this point. And if you're spending $47,000 to clean and demolish certain things,
Well, they also.
I'm looking at it's probably gonna be another $47,000 to put this house back together again.
So, as of the interior wise, I know she's gonna rehab with a lot of the stuff that's already in the house. So they're gonna take the cabinets out and clean them, restore them, and then put them back in. So she's not gonna be spending a lot of money on material aspect because a lot of the stuff wasn't damaged. After that main front room, other than that, it's minor fire damage. That front room and the front porch is where it is really impacted by the fire. So a lot of the stuff is like the carpet's good. From that front room back, the carpet's good. I mean, I don't know if that explains a lot, but.
But you should have brought that. I'm just gonna be honest. Everything that you're telling us, that should have been in writing. That should have been here today before us. And it's
Yes, ma'am.
not. So, I mean, as I said again, the ball has been dropped or somebody just didn't do their job. I mean, as Ms. Johnson said, we were supposed to see a letter from the bank. I get it that she's in the hospital or she's been in rehab, but something else have been done, or you guys could have worked it a different way. I mean, if you're handling her affairs, then that needs to get handled.
Yes, ma'am.
And from this standpoint, it has not been. So, I don't know if anybody else has any other questions?
If you were to go ahead with this, are you going to do most of the remodeling?
Yeah, well, yes, between me and 2 other contractors, I think we're going with Restore Pro is one of them, and then Camp Street Roofing would be the people that we're going to have come out and do the reconstruction of the front room, because the facial wall is the one that's initially damaged. And from there, that's the only construction part of it that with the remodel of that house.
But you don't have an estimate. See, the
Yeah.
things that you're saying,
Yes, ma'am.
all of that should have been together. That's why we gave you the time. We started this in August. We started it back again in September. So everything that you're telling us, all of this should have been presented today. Bank finances, Camp Street Brothers, or whoever you're using, Restore Pro, everything.
Yes, ma'am.
That all should have been in play, and it's not. And it just seems like this is a lot of work to do at this point, and the house has been sitting for how long?
Probably around 2 years.
See,
To my knowledge, 2 years.
so,
And
and this was gonna be, another 2 years to get this
the
done?
time frame that was coming up with was a little past into next year, January, early January, late January.
January 23?
Yes, February mid-February at the latest, because she wants her plan is the house that she's in. She's slowly been getting it ready for Airbnb, so she wants to utilize that as income. So I don't have the papers yet. I understand that, and there's no excuse for it. Stuff should be getting handled. I know that once she gets this ready for Airbnb, she'll be heading off to rehab. And by the time she gets done with rehab, she's expecting that to be, complete.
Can I make a motion?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion at this time that we deny the appeal and go ahead with the demolition of 402 Henry Street.
I need a second.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and properly second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Roll call.
Madam Chairperson Dana Gamblin,
Yes.
Member Sharon Johnson,
Yes.
Don Sharad,
Yes.
Janice Warner,
Yes.
Okay, on to new business.
case number 2021-0405. April Reffel is appealing the notice and order of demolition of 809 Hancock Street, parcel number 57-03.
Thank you.
140.000.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Who's this?
That's the pictures for today.
Okay.
Oh, we got some more, okay.
Yeah. This is an updated.
What's this one for, the same?
That's the
Are both of these for
Yeah,
809 Hancock?
Yeah, that's what it's like.
Okay, thank you.
Read that by the yeah. So 809 Hancock first started with this April 15th of 2021. We got a complaint that there was a child trapped
Can
in
you
the
bring your
garage.
mic up for you? There you go.
Better?
That's
Okay.
good, thanks.
We got a complaint there was a child trapped in the garage and that a neighbor was able to get it to safety. Same complainant advised that the house was vacant, and raccoons were living inside, and someone had taken the copper. So John Ferris went out April 16th of 2021, took some pictures of trash, sent a violation letter. Here's the original pictures. May 5th, Dante Ship and building official Scott Tom went in for an inspection via search warrant. Scott Tom did his damage report at that time, 56%. Dante posted it condemned on that day, May 4th. And the code advises 1341-18D3 advises over 50% shall be ordered demolished. May 7th of 2021, the original violation letter and the condemnation was sent. There's the building official's report, 56%. At that time, the owners were deceased. Mildred had passed in 2017, Reverend Pickles had passed in 2020, and there had been a probate case started, which means we didn't move any further. We were waiting to see what happened at that point. I came back into code compliance in August of this year. And that's when we started more. But in history, we found that April and Angus purchased this on January 11th for $7,300. The deputy advised that they would have had possession of that in March. The Trulia website said that they started selling that on the 4th for $80,000. Most recently it was $49,000, and then it was taken off. I did a lien search on August 28th. Notice and order demolition was written September 9th, sent to the new owners. Certificate of mailing, returned. September 13th, April contacted us. I spoke to her, referenced the order. She advised that she knew nothing about it. She had purchased the property, didn't know it was condemned. So I said that on May 5th, it was condemned over a year ago. May 4th,
And
sorry.
so, was it condemned when they bought it?
Yeah,
It was condemned.
it was
when they bought
condemned,
it.
yep.
Okay.
And you'll see that in your paperwork from the original condemnation. If you go back to when they first did the first search warrant, it was over 56%. And
Okay.
Dante did the condemnation that same day.
Got you, okay.
Okay. She said they intended to appeal the demolition, which is fine. I asked for an interior inspection because she claimed that she had done work, and she told me to contact her attorney. And Mr. Liska, how do you say it? Liska? Okay. In his paperwork, he advised that his reason for appeal was that they were disagreed with the assessment of the demolition, that they felt that we had a sheriff's sale to collect back county taxes, which is not the case. We don't do sheriff sales. The letter also asked that we retain our records, which we do per public law. He also said we were going down a knowingly dishonest path, which the way this works, oh, I'm sorry, let me finish. Liska claims also that the city owns surrounding property, and that is also false. We'll get a complaint, violation letters are sent. Until the demo letter is sent, there's no affidavit filed. And the affidavit is only filed after an appeal is done or no appeal is done. I mean, those are the two options. Even appeal, the process goes through and we file the affidavit, or we don't file because we file automatically if they don't appeal it. So he checked yesterday to see if we had filed this affidavit, and we had not because we haven't completed our appeal process. There's the appeal letter that says exactly what I advised. There's the email where I asked him for access to the property prior to doing another search warrant and gave him the public records request, and that was on September 21st. There's the residence to the north owned by Erie Metro, to the south owned by Robert Garrett. Our properties do not butt up against this residence. The 22nd, we were advised that they would give us access. During the inspection, Scott, Tom, and I showed up on the 29th at 10 o'clock. Both Mr. Yana and April were there. She was very irate and belligerent, screaming talking about the paperwork, saying she hadn't received anything. And I said, well, we gave you record, we have to do a records request. I advised the attorney, and she kept yelling and was saying she wasn't going to sign anything, getting in my face, and so being very belligerent. So she continued to scream and harass and say I was harassing her. So I called Mr. Rucker, and he called the Sandusky Police Department, and they came to stand by. The residence is a two-story, basically a two-unit, located on the west side of Hancock Street between Reese and Neal. There's a dilapidated garage in the back, which Mr. Yana advised they were going to demolish due to extensive damage. Following this summary, there's going to be comparative pictures. This house is not structurally sound. It's got failure in many floors and steps. The ceilings are damaged. The hot water tank's not connected properly or vented correctly. There's electrical issues, plumbing issues. Windows and doors are not weatherproof or watertight. The exterior of the structure has serious damage. Trees grown on the siding on the north side into it. Soffit has collapsed on the north side. The south side has a partial collapse. Gutters are full of growth and they're inoperative. Property has an overall unsanitary issue. There's obvious trash that's been removed, but nothing appears to be clean. One closet is still filled with items. Most of the upstairs still has filthy flooring, walls, and ceilings. The bathroom floor, as seen in the pictures, is failing, and when you stand by the toilet, it feels as though you're going to fall into the tub. When the inspection was complete, April and Angus were advised to follow us to City Hall to sign public records request. They did not follow us. They did come after a while to get one, and I had put on the bottom, because they had claimed that architects had been in there and advised that it was fine, to bring in the reports with them, or to the Housing Appeals Board to please bring the reports. She continues to complain that she wants to get the original case file at this time, but was unaware of the condemnation, and was unaware of the condemnation, but she refused to fill out the public records request after many times being attempted by our department to help her. Okay, so these pictures, you'll see May 21 is Dante Ship's pictures, September 22nd, or 2022 is mine. No change, or maybe a little worse in most of them. They're identical pictures. This is a different angle, but the same spot in the ceiling of collapse. The upper left is a window that's broken out in the front door. The top is another window, it's facing the front that's broken. The other windows are just damaged, not repaired, not weatherproof or weather tight. These windows angle in. Pictures don't do it justice. The floor is spongy, and it actually angles towards the center in that location. More flooring failure. Where I put my feet is where it was spongy, and in where Steve's is, we could barely walk on it. We had to walk to the front of the steps. That corner on the top it's completely leaning towards that back area. Same with the one on the other top, the top right. It's leaning. The flooring on the landing of the stairway is weak, and in the kitchen it's just damaged flooring. This is interesting. When you look at the house, it appears that the bottom is kicked out, the top is kicked in. She claims it's just the paneling, but if you look outside, you'll see the same characteristic. A huge hole in the back by the toilet. The floor is failing. That's where it slants, separated from the wall towards the back there. Damaged electrical wires and ceilings. Exterior tree. There's the garage that will be taken down, and the soffit failure that I talked about. Missing pipes, damaged, and there's that closet still filled with trash. The hot water tank that's not connected, and loose wires with open breaker panels. There is the records request given to April and her husband, asking for the architectural reports. The percentage actually went up from 56 to 62 on this inspection, so it's worse than it was. This is the letter that was sent to her advising her to be here today. Certificate of mailing. We finally received the records request 10/6 of 22. Just recap, per our code 1341-18D3 says when it's 50% damaged, decayed, or deteriorated from its original value or structure, it shall be demolished. That's when we put our demo order out. That's when they can appeal it. That's what they're doing. When it's complete is when we do the affidavit.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sure.
Okay. To get this straight, when was it condemned?
May 4th of 2021.
2021, okay. And then the demo sign is up now, or?
The condemnation is up. Yeah, I noticed that I think 914, you should have it in the original packet. There was a picture of
It went up on 9/14/22?
yeah, it was missing when I went to inspect it. Yes, the original condemnation sign was missing.
Why is it missing?
Someone took it off.
Isn't that against the law?
Yeah. We just have to find them and find out who did
Who
it.
did it?
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Okay.
Just let her know that it was condemned the day that.
It was condemned the day of the initial search warrant, May 4th of 2021.
So that's when the sign should have.
That's when the sign was up. Yeah, There's a picture.
And when did she buy this then?
January 11 of 2022. Deputy Curry, I believe, yeah, is his name. He said that it was March, maybe March 7th, that she got possession. It takes a little bit of time.
It was bought in March of
It was bought in January.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay. Is it Miss Riffle? I'm sorry, or Mr. Younger, or,
Yes.
I'm
that's
Mr.
me.
Liscombe, I'm attorney, I'll speak on her behalf.
okay, you can go to the podium, please.
So there are some procedural issues that I'm taking issues with that's happened with this property. This house was condemned in May of 2021. It was allowed to go to sheriff's sale in January, final purchase in March of 2022. That is an issue because they did do a condemnation letter of 2021. And then they sent that letter to the lawyers handling the probate. There was no response. No appeal was filed. So they should have continued and done it, or notice filed. Because what you've allowed to happen here procedurally is that now a buyer who wants to renovate a property, sees the sheriff's sale, goes in and says, okay, I'm going to buy this property. My client drove by. There's no notice on the door of condemnation. She does a title check, no affidavit that the building's been condemned. I've been in contact with the county prosecutor. No notice to them. They would have never sold this property if they had known this condemnation was pending on this property. Not in this fashion, because it's such, in essence, the sheriff's sale is to cut all liens on a property so that she can start fresh in it. But now we have a demolition on this property if we were to go forward with this at 56 or 64%. That would be on her now. So she's now walked into and is suffering a $25,000 loss simply for buying this property that she was going to refurbish, or then sell to somebody else who was going to refurbish this property. So procedurally, that is an issue. It's a due process issue for my client. I've been in contact with the county prosecutors on this matter, and they asked me to ask for a continuance in this so that we can figure out what we do. It may be that they refund my client her money in this matter. We want to discuss that more. What I would ask for is a variance in this property, or at least time to do a more detailed review of this property. I've been in contact with John Fick on this property. He is a architect in the area. Is anyone familiar with Mr. Fick?
Fike.
Fike?
Right.
Okay. He wants to come out and do a quantitative start on the property. That is something that we're considering depending on what we hear back from the county prosecutors on this property. As to, my client went to this property, there was no notice posted. She didn't take this down. If she had seen a notice posted condemnation, she never would have bought it. Why would she want to be here after to do this on investment on this property, knowing that very well that property would be raised on her? It just, my client has made some repairs to the property. This property was absolutely trash filled. I have no issues with the housing authority being served this property in May 2021. It was an absolute cesspool. Absolutely. It's a hazard to local kids. Absolutely. That I don't discount at all. You'll see that if they have the old photos in that packet. I'm not sure if they do. Did you provide the old photos? Okay.
Yeah, that was a comparison that I gave.
Okay, thank you. My client has moved mounds of trash out of this property. Now, we do have some difference of opinion on the foundation of this property. For example, the housing says that the bathroom's unsafe. My client can provide a video of her jumping in that bathroom repeatedly on that floor because it is not falling through. Now, the tiling needs done. Cosmetically, this house does need a lot of work. Absolutely. It does need a fresh coat of paint. It needs to be cleaned. It needs new flooring, tiling. It needs repairs to the roof. It needs. There are exposed wires. My client has capped those wires. As of today, we can show you photos of those, that's taken care of. I don't understand how the percentage for the foundation has been marked at 50% on the foundation, based on some liens. I know that there's the allegation that the floor is not level. We can provide you photos of levels levels on the floor showing level. Now, the house is not perfect. We do have bids that come in. It does need a new roof. That it has roof work as required. My client has received a bid from Aces Handyman to repair the roof for $4,300. She received the bid to replace the heating and to add air conditioning at $17,000. And then she has a contractor coming in this week to walk through to give her an estimate on the drywall and the plumbing on the property.
I have a question. Two questions. So, you said that you went to our county prosecutor and they asked you to ask us for a continuance? So did they give you anything in writing?
Absolutely, no, because I received a message at like 4:30 in the afternoon last night, because I contacted them and asked them, was there an affidavit for this? Why was this allowed to go to sheriff's sale? And they said no. And then they contacted my office and said, ask them for, I think it's between 30 to 90 days that this board can give. Ask for a continuance so we can get the matter of this so we don't have to litigate it. Because I think that realistically, my client would like to have her money back, and then the city could raise this building if that is determined to do that. And then the next buyer could then take on that lien. But
Well, if she doesn't get her money back, again, because we actually don't really get involved with the sheriff's sale, so I'm not gonna sit here and pretend to tell you the ins and outs. But I guess my question is, it was 56% in 2021, now it's at 62% that it's deteriorated. So you just stated that she has someone coming for the roof, someone coming for this.
Yes.
But overall, what are they telling her that it's going to cost her to rehab and bring this house up to code? Because from our standpoint, anything that is over 50% is demolishable.
right, and I understand that part of it. The issue that I have is how my client got stuck in with this property on that's going to be demolished. There's been nothing provided to my client about what needs to be focused on and what needs to fix. The percentages I received, I have not received those percentages that were brought up. Those were not provided to my client. And there's no specifics like, okay, we need to work in this floor area here, redo this structure. We do know that the roof needs to be repaired. And we have that estimate at $43.50, but I don't know what that does for this percentage on this property.
I was gonna say, if I may,
Go ahead.
I don't know, but I don't know if the sheriff's sales or the variables or whatever should come before the Housing Appeals Board. I think all we are here to do is to see if we need to demolish this facility, this building, or not. And like Sister Dana said, Ms. Gamlin said, it's more than 50%. So I don't know, do we have to, do we need to look to see if she gets her money back, or do we focus on?
Can I give you something else? I'm sorry.
Yes.
This is a paper that I took off of the county website that talks about how all sheriff sales are buyer beware situation.
Right, right.
So this is gonna explain maybe a little bit, and there's actually training available.
Did you
so
give
people
her a
make the right
copy?
decision.
Don't hand it.
There's also supposed to be able to title searches on the property to show you everything that's going on with the property, and that was conducted both by her privately and the county prosecutor.
Sorry, I missed your first comment there. There was supposed to be, what was supposed to be provided? I didn't hear you.
No, there was, when you're supposed to be able to do title searches to see impending liens on the property,
Yeah.
and there's no way for her to know at all about this condemnation. There's nothing out there. There was no marking on the property, though I do admit that they showed a photo of it being marked at the time of purchase. It's not there. And there was no affidavit filed. So literally, this would be a massive warning flag to anybody buying property from that sheriff's sales in Sandusky City proper, that you'd be walking into a condemnation and you might just be out Not only the $7,000 for the purchase, but then the $25,000 to have the property demolished.
I still don't see if that's something Housing Appeal Board need to look at.
Well, you're-
I just think we need to look at
Ma'am,
the condition of the house.
I understand your position on that, but you do have the ability to grant a variance when you look at the entitle of it, the totality of the situation.
So that's the piece I need to understand. Do we have that right to issue a variance?
If,
Extend the time,
Extend the time, okay,
just like you've done in other cases.
okay.
Yes. Yep, here, he's.
If I may,
thank
this is
you.
Brendan, Law Director. What you have before you is, you're correct, ma'am.
Thank you.
Basically, they've appealed the condemnation order of the demolition. And before you is to decide whether you want to uphold that demolition order, agree with the appeal, and reverse the demolition order, give them more time, which you often have done in the past. Those are your options. The sheriff's sale process, although did impact, this is how the property was acquired, that is separate. That's between them and the county. We don't do anything with the sheriff's sale. We don't
Right.
put things through sheriff's sale. That's not the city of Sandusky, and that's not something that this board is considering today. Now, how you want to handle the actual property, though, that's what you're all tasked with today. If that's helpful, did that answer your
That's
question?
helpful. Thank you.
I have 6 questions here, okay?
If it's pertaining to the property, yes.
Not the purchase.
Not the purchase, it's just pertaining to, are we going to give them a variance as far as more time to?
Well, I need to ask some questions to understand this better so I can make a better vote, you know? So,
Where you going with this? Go ahead.
first of all, I checked with the sheriff's office, and that is risky business when you buy an auction house. You can't go inside, you have to buy it as is, and it's up to the property owner to do the research. Now, you're telling me that she went to everybody but the city to talk about this property. Why didn't she come down to the city hall and ask about the property before she bought that? Said, is there anything going on with this property?
Generally, ma'am, in those situations, something would be recorded, lien on the property. That's generally how that's handled.
Yeah, but the sign's missing and everything. She should have come down to city hall.
She'd have no idea that there was a sign to begin with.
We don't file anything with the county. There are no liens or anything that's going to show up on it.
But if she came down here, you could have told
Right,
her
but
that it was condemned.
he's speaking about a title search and information that would show up on that lien or that title search or that lien search. Any information that we have in the housing or the compliance office is not going to show up on that lien search because we don't file anything
Until the appeal
Right.
process.
until the
is over.
appeal process is complete.
Because it pertains to liens. It doesn't pertain
I
to...
do have something to say. In April of April 21st of 2020, I did, after purchase in place, John came down and did an inspection from code. He sent me a paper. The only violation he had was the trash nuisance, and I instantly cleaned it up.
Did you say 2020?
And I do have that letter here too, where he contacted me about the trash. And me and him spoke on the phone. I got dumpsters. We instantly had it cleaned up. A month later, I received a call from Stephen. And I tried to call him back saying there was a problem with 809 Hancock. I called and called. He didn't return any of my calls. I had to call John to see if Stephen was a real man that even worked down there, because Stephen would not return my calls. John informed me that he did work at code office, and he gave me to John, his secretary or something. And I left a message again. I got no phone communication back from him. I contacted my lawyer, and I said, something is going on. Nobody wants to return my calls. Nobody wants to send me paperwork. Can you figure out what's going on for me here, please?
I did leave a voicemail as well, and I was never contacted again.
Okay. All right.
I requested paperwork
Thanos
verbally
closest.
in writing. It was just something they did not want to hand to me.
Ms.
Okay,
Riffle,
okay.
let's focus.
Wait,
Y'all talking at one time, so
I
you
have
have a lawyer, he'll speak for you. You have another question?
I have some more questions. So
Okay.
who's speaking? Is she or is he speaking?
Attorney.
The lawyer is speaking for her, but ask your question.
Okay. Why is she buying the property? Is she going to fix it up and flip it? Is she going to rent it or?
We can't ask.
Well, Ms. Riffle buys multiple properties, and then she goes in and she sees what's the state of it. Okay, this property has value based on its location. You're near the waterfront that's been renovated, which the city has done an amazing job with. It's very impressive, and it's only 8 blocks away. So this property has value based on its nearness to that waterfront district.
So
Now-
she's in the business of buying lots of properties like this and fixing it up?
And she makes one of 3 decisions. Okay, I'm going to make some minor cosmetic changes, and I'm going to sell this to somebody else who's going to then turn it into something else. She will fix it up herself and sell whole, or she'll fix it up and then rent.
Okay, so does she sell them or does she rent them out after she fixes them up?
Both.
He just said that she either rents them or she sells them.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with our
So-
decision we need to do.
I'm gonna bring this back to the fold. So, we are here just today to discuss, are we gonna allow for a variance to give them more time? Are we gonna approve the demolition order? That's what,
So I do have one question.
Yes, sir.
And that, if we provide a variance to give them more time, what do we expect to happen during that time?
well, that's what I wanted to ask the lawyer. So if you get this variance, what do you expect for us to do at this?
Well, for sure, we'll have the roof repaired, okay? And that seems, I think that is a big issue with this property, is the condition of the roof. We do have a Construction Unlimited coming out this week to give estimates on the drywall and the plumbing and what's going to take to fix that. The safety hazards of the exposed wires in the lighting fixings have been addressed, and they have been capped until they can have new light fixtures put in. So those are 2 things that we're doing, that we can do immediately or in the near future.
This is kind of like back and forth because you're saying that she wants kind of her money back from the county for the sheriff's sale, but she's putting money into it to fix it up.
If I could be honest, ma'am, there's no guarantee that that's going to happen, so that would be best case scenario for my client. Can't guarantee it's going to happen. Okay, if that's not going to happen, what do we do not to lose the investment? Then we're going to have to comply with the code, get that house built up to be in compliance, so it's not a complete $30,000 loss for my client. Because that's what she's looking at right now, is a $30,000 loss on this property. The purchase price and then the cost of demolition.
Wait a minute, I thought she purchased this house for $7,300. Where are you getting that figure at?
She also had to pay the back taxes, your ma'am, and then she'll have to pay the taxes this year, plus it'll be the cost of demolition. Estimated between $20,000 to $25,000.
Yeah, okay, but the base price that she paid for it was $7,300.
Correct, ma'am.
Period, okay. I'm getting a little nervous when this guy tells me she's just going to do cosmetic fix-ups, you know, because there's more than cosmetic fix-ups here, and you mentioned $4,300 for a roof. Where can you get a roof for $4,300?
Well, he's the only gentleman that's actually been on the roof, and that was the estimate he provided.
I'm sorry?
He's the only gentleman that's actually been up on the roof, and that's what he provided her. So
What is this, a patch job on the roof instead of getting a whole new roof, or what?
that I couldn't tell you, ma'am. What I can say is I can have John Fegg come in and do a complete review of the property before the next hearing and give his official opinion on what it's going to take to completely fix the property if a variance is granted in time.
So if I understand, Mr. Fike's a professional engineer.
He is.
And will provide us he's, I don't want to say bonded, the PE has certain requirements, legal requirements, responsibilities, and liabilities for him. I believe if Mr. Fike provided us that synopsis, and I think that's what you're shooting for, right? That's what you want.
Yes,
Is
sir.
an analysis signed by a professional engineer that says this is the condition of the building. That's what you're going to ask Mr. Fike for, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We have
Would-
that
would
from
that-
ours, though.
I'm sorry?
We have that from our building official. We have 2 reports
Sure.
as well.
So that's going to be provided within 30 days?
I would ask for 60. Is that possible to get 60 days to make sure that it's done?
I would be in favor of giving him 30 days to get some more paperwork to us. I'm not happy about giving them a variance at this stage of the game. I'm not doing that. So if we want to give them 30 more days to get some more paperwork on this and more information, okay, but I'm not giving them a variance right now. I don't think that's...
Difference between a variance and 30 days.
That's okay for them to go ahead and fix this without any paperwork here. I mean, we don't have
Do
any
you want to
quotes
fix
or
within 30
anything.
days?
Pardon?
She wants the paperwork within 30 days.
I want the documentation in 30
to show what it's
days.
gonna cost to fix this up. They're gonna have their architect come and tell us what they think. We have at 62% that it is.
I just don't want to see cosmetic stuff done to this when you've got some major things on this house to be done, and just flip it or whatever she's going to do with it.
I understand.
You know, I would be in favor of giving them 30 more days to get some paperwork to us as to how much it's going to cost here. And if Mr. Fike is coming into this deal, I trust Mr. Fike to give us a honest opinion on what's going on with this. I mean,
So are you making a motion?
I would make a motion that we give him 30 days to come back here in 30 days with some concrete documentation if you want to save this house, but I'm not going to give him a variance on this just yet. I want to see what's going on with this,
Fair enough.
so.
I'll second that motion.
So it's motion, so it's been moved and properly second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, can you give a roll call, please?
Madam Chairperson Dana Gamblin,
Yes.
Member Sharon Johnson,
Yes.
Don Sharad,
Yes.
Janice Warner,
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Okay.
next.
You got one more? Okay.
We have case number 2022-0461. Katrina Crum is appealing the first administrative penalty at 710 Warren Street, Sandusky, parcel number 57-03243-000.
No, you just wait for him, and then you can go. All right.
Good evening, Ron Snyder, City of Sandusky Code Compliance Officer. Excuse me. Again, as indicated, the property in question is 710 Warren Street. If you're not real familiar with that, it's just south of Monroe on Warren. It's going to be the first residence actually on the east side of the roadway. May 2nd, while I was in the field, noted the said residents to have a number of infractions, and they consisted of the following. In your photo packet, you'll notice the eave, fascia board, everything primarily to deal with that area of the north side of that residence had started to rot away. Roof on the east side of the residence had flaking or crumbling or deteriorating shingles. Roof also appears to be raised in one area and sunken in another. Basically, that was in a matter of the viewer's perception. Depending upon where you stood, would give you a waved appearance in regards to the roof on that side. There was no downspouts or gutters on the north side of the residence. Gutters on the west side of the residence, they were drooping or sagging. You can see the picture to the left there. You'll notice that, which would be the west side. That gutter is damaged. Then the gutter on the right side in that photo there, the placement of it is very low. It's starting to sag. Water would just run completely over the top of it. It wouldn't even fulfill the function. The hand railing on the front steps is detached at the top, subsequently not allowing it to be used for what it was designated. The front steps need to be covered or painted, as with other wooden areas on the front porch, trim, etc. A notification and order of violations letter was sent out on May 3rd of 2022. Certificate of mail. On 6/7 of 2022 was a scheduled follow-up date. The picture to the left side there on the monitor is the same as the photo was on the previous inspection. You can see where the fascia board is rotted out. flashing or basically your eave drip edge is peeled upward. Nothing had been done to it. Picture to the right is again the area showing how that gutter has started to pull away from the fascia board. It's in need of repair. This one is a mystery. I'll be the first one to, and I wish I could explain this to you. If you look at the front steps and look at the steps compared to the original, it does appear as if someone maybe had stained and or addressed the issue with the old exposed wood. I then learned later that that was probably not the case. However, that I gave them a courtesy extension because it did appear to me as if some sort of progression was going to be made to start abating some of the issues. Again, courtesy letter was sent, and we had certificate of mail and returned as far as certified mail. A follow-up inspection was scheduled for July 12th of 2022, and I noted a distinct change. If you look at the photo on the left, I apologize for the sun coming over the peak of the roof there. The fascia board had been replaced. They buttoned down the eave area. The drip edge had been kind of secured. Still no gutters, no spouts. Again, courtesy extension was granted, and we pushed their timeline down the road a little bit. As of 8/16/2022, I went out and noted, again, we had no progress at this point. The picture to the left, you'll notice that there needs to be a downspout that's on that gutter. The gutter to the west side of the residence or on the front of the house is still bent downward and had not been addressed. And basically the photo to the right is standing on the sidewalk to the front looking up, and you can see basically the light coming between the gutter and the fascia board. Notice of first administrative penalty, failure to owner to correct the violations, was sent out to the owner on 8/16/2022 along with an invoice for $100. Certificate of mail and certified mail. Plus there was an administrative penalty evaluation done, signed by the housing supervisor. 8/16/2022, due to the fact that I had not received any phone calls from the owners, any kind of correspondence, had no public service for the same, permission was granted from the housing supervisor for me to go out to their residence. The tax mailing address for this property was the address of interest, which was 710 Warren. And it was apparent that property owner was not getting this mail, maybe in a reasonable amount of time. So I drove out, placed a code compliance contact card in the mailbox of their private residence. And on 8/18, I was contacted by Mrs. Crum regarding finding the contact card in her mailbox. We had a conversation about the status of the Warren Street property and asked if she or her husband had been receiving any of the mail concerning the property, and had talked to her regarding why the taxpayer address, which we go by procedure through the auditor's website, was still indicating the Warren Street address and not their mailing address. Advised they had every intention of addressing the issues on Warren Street regarding the mail. They've received mail, and then again, they haven't. I don't know if this was a concern maybe with the tenant that resides there. Once the mail came, I maybe will allow her to allude to that when she's able to talk. Basically, she was advised that the administrative penalty had been administered for the lack of progress and that they should be receiving a letter in the mail. She was encouraged to contact the Erie County Auditor's Office to have this taxpayer address changed. Also, that should she and her husband feel that the administrative penalty was unjust because of the mail concerns, that they could file for an appeal. And subsequently, that's why we're here today.
Is Ms. Crum here?
Yes.
Step up to the podium.
So I did speak with him when I got the card in my mailbox. He said that he had mailed something out to the house. I still haven't yet to receive it, so I don't know what's going on. Trying to get the gutters fixed. My husband's super busy trying to find somebody to do it. I do have all intentions on getting the gutters done. It's just, he's busy, you know what I mean? And trying to get somebody else out there to do it. I mean, I get it. It needs done.
Have you received any kind of estimates at all, or?
I'm not sure if he has. He's contacted a couple people, but they were just too busy to go out there. So then he was going to do it himself, but he was too busy with work. So, I mean, I get it if we're fined or whatever, but I mean, it's not like we're not going to do it. We're going to get it done. I did get the painting done on the front porch. I think you said I had to have it painted.
As of today, the photos that I gave you guys, as of today, you will note that there is a change in the, I guess it would be classified as the guardrails around the porch, or the, have a fresh coat of paint on them, yes. So.
I work 6 days a week, and it's just, you know, sometimes I work 7. It's just hard to get over there.
I have some questions.
Mm-hmm.
This is a rental then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is this your only rental, or do you have other rentals?
This is my only.
Okay. And so this is all over a mail concern then? You haven't been getting the mail?
Yes, I have not received any mail. I didn't understand that the auditor's thing had to be different, like for mailing address, until he explained that to me. I just assumed I moved. You know what I mean? I have another house that I live at, and I didn't understand that.
So wait a minute. So you don't stay at 710?
No.
No.
And you move somewhere else?
Mm-hmm.
But then most people fill out something at the post office when they
Well,
move, so that.
So
you
I
can
own
have
another
money.
house in
Just didn't do
Castelia.
it to the recorder's office.
So I own 2 houses. I didn't know that I had to change my mailing address for, like, on the auditor's website or whatever that is.
And you might not have, I was just asking, like, did you stay at 710 at one time?
Yes, but I haven't been there for probably 6 years.
Okay, and so that's what, I guess my question was, when you moved to where you're at now, did you fill out a change
Yes.
of address?
Yes. All my normal mail comes to my house in Castelia.
Okay.
Do you periodically check on your house? I mean, yearly, every 6 months or whatever?
Yeah.
When was the last time you checked on your house?
I mean, I'm there probably at least every couple months to see her. I mean, I knew that the gutter, so originally, before he had got out there, the gutters had fallen in a windstorm. So then my husband ripped them off. That's when he got those pictures that you first seen where the fascia was all rotted. We were in the process of ripping them down. Then he went out there and replaced all that wood up there. So I knew that they had fallen. Like on the
Were
left
you
side.
aware of the other things that weren't right with the house on the outside?
Like what?
Like what he was describing, all of that?
What else was there? There was the gutters, the
Steps.
steps. I didn't know I had to paint steps.
Well, the thing is when steps are new and you're using the wood like that, that wood has to set for a period of time to allow it to dry in order for it to take paint.
Okay.
Right? And it's highly recommended. The amount of steps that you do have there, okay, them are added steps, which means that railing's gonna need to be addressed as well.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
why,
I knew that, I seen the railing was broke. I didn't know that it had broken. Or
Have you
at
ever,
the top.
let me ask you this, have you ever walked on someone's deck that's wet?
Yeah, I get
Have you
it.
ever, like,
Where it gets
slip and
slimy?
slide?
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the whole thing of adhering some sort of surface to them steps in order to prevent someone from falling because there's no rail to hang on to.
Yeah, I get it.
So-
I get that. I mean, I didn't know that we had to have it painted and whatever.
But you check on your house every 6 months, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm close with the person, you know what I mean? It's not like I don't talk to the lady that lives there, you know?
Since it's a rental, do you check on the inside also, or do you?
Yeah. She's very clean, very neat.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong on the inside, like she's,
So we're here about her administrative penalty, so what does the board want to do?
I would make a motion that we give her 30 more days because of this mail mix-up and everything, but when she comes, she's
not
gonna,
for the 30
Yeah.
days. Her penalty today would be $100. Are we enforcing it or
Oh,
we're not?
okay.
That's what she's here for. Her first administrative penalty. She doesn't think she should have to pay it. What does the board want to do?
well, yeah, but you have this mail mix-up here, that figures in with it.
I don't know how to say it correctly, but I don't want her to pay. So my motion would be to
To waive.
waive the
To waive
fee.
Okay.
thank you.
Because it's an honest mistake, and everybody's busy right now. And,
Okay, so there's a motion out
Word it
to
the way it needs
waive
to
the
be.
penalty. I need a second.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No opposed? Call.
Madam Chairperson Dana Gamblin,
Yes.
Member Sharon Johnson,
Yes.
Don Sharad,
Yes.
Janice Warner.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so get that, if you haven't got it changed, get it changed.
Yep, I'm going
Okay,
to.
all right.
Should I just contact you then when I get everything
I'm going to
done?
talk to you real quick here in the
Okay.
lobby, and we'll
Okay,
give you an
that'd be
idea.
great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Adjourn.
So you're going to